Good morning, welcome to Planet Mojo. Today I'm going to be doing some high cordon shoot thinning and positioning. As you can see, I'm I'm on the fourth row, and I just have the rest of this row, the back side, and then that row to do. So if you haven't seen any of the earlier videos, I did the first row, but I was getting way too much breakage, and I wanted to wait until the lignin, right at this joint here. At a certain point this solidifies, gets hard enough so that you can bend a stem around, and it wasn't there yet when I started on that first row. So I finished that up, tried to be careful, but I broke a lot of the shoots off. So I waited. It's been about 5 days. I sprayed in between. The last spray was mancozeb and mycobutanol. Yeah, that's it, mancozeb and mycobutanol, which is systemic. And there are absolutely no signs of disease in the vineyard, which is great. Cross your fingers. So what I'm doing is taking any shoots that are like going over the top and getting them off the top and getting them back into their lane. And if they have tendrils connecting them to the next vine, I break the tendrils or cut them, whatever is convenient. And all I want to do is get it right in its lane, which this one is, and then leave it alone. If I pull down on that a little too much, it's going to still snap at the joint there. And if I just leave it as is, eventually it'll start drooping like this one until I can put it over the catch wire. And sometimes I tie them to the catch wire, most of the time not. If it'll hook on like a leaf, and then eventually it'll connect to another branch with a tendril or something, and you don't have to tie it. And then I come to the top. Ones like this are never gonna go down to the wire, and it can't go straight up. So I come in and go right above any fruit, like right there, and cut it off. And then this one, you could see it's going up, and it's already got two that are going down, so that one's never going to go down. So I cut it off right above the fruit, and whether that fruit makes it or not, I don't know. But whether the fruit makes it or not makes no difference. I just don't want to cut it way down here and lose all this really nice fruit if I don't have to. The fruit might not make it, but it's best to leave it. So you can see what a mess this can get. It's got tendrils that grab onto each other, and it wants to make like a big mat coming out sideways. And I need to disconnect all of that so that gravity drops these down, and then they can go onto the catch wire. Then in areas like this, especially where the two trunks come together, it gets really dense, and I need to take out the shoots that are going straight up, like all of this stuff right in here. Like all of this stuff right in here, that's a mess, and it's going way up. All it'll do is just break. There's no way to get it down to the wire, and in a wind that'll just snap right off. So let me strap the camera to my head, and I'll do 3-4 vines for you. So hopefully my camera is aimed right. You gotta kind of decide whether a shoot is ever going to make it to the wire, and I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it or not. This one is not. So it's aiming straight up, and all it'll do is break in half. it'll never make it down to the wire, so get rid of it. All right, that one cracked a little bit, but it didn't break. Got one running sideways here. Cut that off. For the most part, I'm trying to get these aiming towards their own lane. All right, huge mess here. All right. Get inside here. Okay, that one might make it down, but it looks like I have 4 or 5 shoots on that. Yeah, I got a whole bunch of them, so just gonna go above the fruit and get rid of that one. This one has no fruit on it. Get rid of that one. This one's just got one flimsy little fruit on it. Yeah, this is an extremely vigorous vine right here. It's probably not a super good one to start with, or to start showing. This is just curving way up. Yeah, this is a total mess right in here. And then you got to take off leaves here and there that are shading everything. This is just a sucker. Yeah, not much of this wants to go down to the vine. Some of the plants, almost every branch eventually goes down to the wire. Some of them, like this, almost none go down to the wire. And these are the hardest to deal with, but this will end up getting a whole lot of fruit on it. I believe this is the fruitiest aisle of them all. See, all these are going to make it down to the wire, but they're just not quite long enough. I could tie it, but they would probably snap in the wind, so wait for it. And I don't have to get everything done in this one pass. I will be coming through here right before spraying. Every time I spray, I come through the day or two before and thin it out. And that is pretty much all summer long. But it gets easier as the summer goes. This is the big flush right here. Once you start getting shoots tied to the wire, once you start getting a bunch of them, it gets a lot easier. Then you can see what's in the top part here and get in there and thin it out. And you have to come from both sides because it can be quite messy. Yeah, see, this cannot stay this tangled, dense mess like this. It has to be way thinner than that. This one comes from the renewal shoot down there, so it's not needed, but I left the fruit on. This is a sucker. All right, it's a lot cleaner now, but it'll get cleaner yet when I come up the other side, and after a couple more prunings it'll be really nice. Eventually this gets hedged off nice and clean all along the top. You can see the difference between this one and this one. The ones on this side that are still going pretty much up are the side shoots, and they will eventually bend down. I just can't do it right now. Again, anything that cannot go down will be cut off, like this one. Hopefully this wind isn't messing with the audio. Been having audio issues lately. I have 3 different types of audio now, and none of them work all that great. But it is what it is. I mean, they're high quality. It's just not easy to use. Yeah, I think these will come down. This one will not. It's pointing straight up. Same thing with this one back here. Go right above the fruit. Hack it off. So I'm gonna leave that for gravity. See what this big one's doing. Sometimes when they're standing straight up like that, it's just because it's 2 of them hanging on to each other. I'll have to assess that one from the other side. They're both on the other side, so wait till I get there for that. In a week when I come back in here, pretty much everything will be going onto the wire. The first one I worked on, a lot of stuff went down to the wire, so it's getting there. All right, the women just stopped by to tell me they were going to town. Oh, here's that nest. I have to leave stuff above the nest for the protection of the eggs. She makes a nest in here every year, and like the sprays and stuff aren't harmful to birds, but I try not to spray them anyways. But I wish she wouldn't put a nest in here every year, because I have to work around it. I'm surprised she's not yelling at me right now. She's got to be nearby. Sometimes it's hard to know what to prune and what to leave for the other side. Like that, you know, if it's crossing up over onto this side, you might want to cut it off, and if it's going to hang down and go to the wire on the other side, it's much better to just leave it. But once you start moving fast, you'll make a mistake here and there, but you just got to keep moving, or you'll never get it done. Yeah, this entire row has very few that are long enough to go to the wire yet. But it is a very fruitful row. Yeah, a lot of this stuff's on the other side. See, these are all gonna go down to the wire very soon. They're acting very nicely, but these are not. That one's from the other side. And right after you get done pruning like this, the vineyard looks a mess because you've repositioned everything. So you have a lot of leaves that are upside down, and it all looks really tangled up. But within a day or so, all the leaves turn towards the sun again, and everything looks just fine. that on the other side. Tried doing the back side of this last row, and the sun is dead in my eyes for doing any pruning, so that's going to be it for today. It is looking really nice and healthy this year. I'm really glad I got my sprays in early. So what I got to do is come out here earlier in the morning so I have the sun at my back. And I'll probably, I don't know, I'll probably go up and down all the rows and tie a few of these. It was a little windy today, so I just quit tying. It is looking nice though. I was going to take you down to the end right there, well I still will, to show you some deer damage. And here's some right here. Not much, they just took off the smaller leaves, and they did it a while ago. You could tell because these side shoots are coming out already. Probably did it 2-3 days ago, but this wasn't here when I sprayed. I sprayed 5 days ago, maybe 4 or 5, so it's fairly recent. See, a lot of this stuff is either ready or nearly ready to go to the wire. And that's another reason I haven't been tying. Especially that wire right there. It's really loose, so it's low. I got to get in here and tighten the wires. I still haven't done that yet this year. So I got to do that tomorrow, and then I will just go around and get some of these tied to the wire. It makes everything far more stable, and you have less wind damage. Alright, this very end one. And this is where we get damage, if we do get damage. It's usually anything sticking out on this end, because the deer will come through there and just walk right by here and bite it off on their way down there. And they also kind of hide along the back of here, but they do such minimal damage, it's not worthwhile trying to scare them away. I mean, some years they don't do anything. What this is going to do is make it not able to make it to the wire, but they'll be just fine. So while I'm doing that stuff tomorrow morning, Natalie will be cleaning out these aisles. Then the next step after that is to get in here and do a big tying to the bottom wire. Everything will be long enough by then. And after they're tied to the bottom wire, or if they're connected to it with a tendril or something, I can just hedge everything right below the wire. That's the point I want to get to. It's a lot easier to spray just a vertical wall of leaves than it is this mess. And this is what I'll be spraying next time, unfortunately. So if you want to see the progress here in the vineyard, make sure you subscribe and click on the update icon. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them in the comment section below. And if you give the video a like and or share it, it helps the channel out greatly. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.